I follow the sun to find a town. Let's see if I can achieve this.
Alright, well, you see that it's bright outside.
Okay.
Alright, so
follow the brightness.
you go up. You start climbing a tree. You start climbing a tree again. Because that's where it's bright. It's up there.
Okay.
Why'd you roll that one?
I need this one. I need this one to see if I fall.
Roll it better, because you just, like, threw it. Like, roll it nice and sideways. There we go. Alright.
I still... What happens now? It's split.
Alright, here, roll it again and see for luck. Alright, so you're climbing, and you start to slide and slip, but then, like, you're... but, like, as you're, like, trying to hold on to the bark for dear life...
I'm holding on.
No, this is how... You were climbing like this. And so you're, like, holding on to the bark, like, digging your fingernails into the fucking bark. As you're, like, digging your nails into the bark, somehow the bark slides and, like, comes off the tree a little, and your hands get stuck in between the tree and the bark.
Great, now I'm stuck.
But you didn't fall. So you want to, I assume you want to get unstuck, so let's roll this big black die and see if you do. Kind of. You jiggle and wiggle, and let's see how lucky you are. You're ever so slightly more lucky than jiggling and wiggling. Alright, so you snap one hand out, and you grab a tree branch, and you go to snap the other one out, but it's still stuck.
I'm gonna keep trying to get out.
Alright, roll the red die because you're cutting yourself on this branch right now. On this bark, I mean. Wow. You were really wedged in there. Alright, Bailey, better be careful. You only have 4 health left.
Okay.
So this is you. You're holding the branch, and your hand is stuck in the bark.
I'm gonna do something really stupid. Hold on.
Okay, I'm holding on.
I'm going to try and figure out what kind of tree it is.
Well, you know it's a tree, and you know it's got some dark, like, bark here.
Okay, I'm gonna...
Are you okay over there, baby?
I'm gonna gnaw my hand free.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna eat the bark.
So you're gonna eat the bark?
It fucking works!
Alright, roll to see how well you do it, because you did it, but how well did you do it? Oh, you did it really well. You actually did it really well. Roll that red die.
Oh, what? Camera.
Alright, so little did you know this was actually a healing tree. And you actually have
cool.
8 health now.
I was hoping that it was a cinnamon tree, so...
Cinnamon tree.
Cinnamon is made from bark, so that's why I went for
Alright,
it.
well, then let me just go ahead and say that it is actually a giant cinnamon tree. And now that you've eaten the cinnamon bark, you are fucking thirsty.
Shit, I need to find that water.
I think it's hilarious because your face was like all happy and stuff, and you're like, yeah, I ate it. I'm thirsty. Sad day.
Okay, so I'm gonna climb to the top of the tree and look for something water-like.
Let's do a lucky check. Let's check how lucky you are. Alright, so you're, so you know how you were holding this branch and that you just gnawed all of the cinnamon off this hand?
That was so funny. Yes.
Alright, so what ended up happening was as you were reaching for another branch, your foot slipped, and now you're just holding on to this branch. And you're just kind of
dangling now.
Yeah, you're just dangling by this branch right now.
I'm gonna try and pull myself up. I fall.
Do a luck. Do a luck thing. Damn. Alright, so you weren't very lucky. So you're holding onto this tree branch. It breaks as you're trying to, you know, lift yourself up, rather than using the tree, you know, that's right here, or like another branch or something, you know. You're just like trying to reach this other branch again. It breaks, you start to fall, and you hit another branch on the way down. That kind of hurt your leg a little bit. Do another black roll for me, because I'm curious. Okay, no, that's fine. Your strength wasn't very great, though. I was just curious if you were going to hold on to this branch the whole way down. So you hit that branch, and you drop the branch, and it goes all the way over there. And you tumble, and, you know, you just kind of land flat on your back. In the same spot that you landed earlier.
I am the worst elf in the world.
I mean, for the longest time you thought a pixie was a dog, so...
So, now that I know that this tree is a healing tree, can I just eat some of it?
Let's see how well you... Well, do you have anything to, like, get the bark? Or are you just gonna, like, pry it off with your hand?
I have my daggers.
Just a second, I have an alarm going off.
And you're in the whiteboard.
Yeah, that happens. There we go.
So, since I know it's a healing tree...
Alright, and so you're gonna take your dagger and, like, carve off some shit?
Some shit, yeah.
Alright, you almost had a 20. So, like, as you're chipping it away... Alright, so this is your dagger. So you're like, as you're chipping it away, you're like getting some bark, and you're like getting some bark. You're like, I don't know, you're just like putting it next to you, you know, to try and, you know, savor it. You get all this bark, you're getting all this bark. Alright, that's our bark now, apparently. Finish, you know, getting all this bark, so like this whole part is like bare now. You like put your, you know, dagger back in your pocket, and you look back over. And somehow, yeah, somehow the bark was, like, disintegrating and was, like, blowing away in the breeze. Fuck. So you have, like, a third of the cinnamon bark that you had. What are you going to do with it?
I'm going to put it in my pouch for later.
Okay. So you're, like, scooping up this cinnamon that's blowing away at the same time and shoving it into your pouch. Okay. Yeah. So now what?
I am going to follow the moss some more.
Okay. Alright, so you see this moss, and you're like, alright, so I see that the moss is pointing that direction. Bailey.
Yeah.
Bailey. Bailey, I need you to see where...
I died for a second.
I saw. Alright, so...
Kara's now in the way. Okay.
Alright, so you see that the moss is facing, like, a good that direction. Like, right that way. But somehow, you're like this. Alright, I'm gonna follow this moss, and it's gonna somehow take me to either water or a town.
Civilization.
Yeah, and you're just like this. Alright, let's go. And you just immediately start going the wrong direction.
Fuck my life. Okay. I'm gonna view my surroundings.
Alright, there's trees.
I don't know where the fuck I am.
There's trees, there's more moss facing the opposite direction that you're walking, but you don't really notice that. You just keep walking, you see more trees. Here, let me snag that. See if there's any, Okay, good. No enemies for you. So what you gonna do? You gonna keep walking? What you doing?
I'm very thirsty.
Yeah. Let's see how smart you are. Like, let's do an intelligence check. All right. So your first thought, you sit down on a rock because you're like, all right, game plan. I am thirsty. I have a pouch of cinnamon, and I know that the cinnamon will make me more thirsty.
What the fuck am I doing?
I don't know. What are you doing?
I don't know. I'm just moving this back and forth between my hands.
Anyway, pay attention to what you am doing. All right, so my plan needs to be somehow to relieve my thirst. The only liquid that's around me is blood.
I can think of a second option.
I mean, can you? I don't know.
Oh my god, your eyes just squinted.
I mean, you got a 5 on your intellect. What's your other idea, though?
Let's see if I even can manage it.
I don't know. What was it? You look angry.
I don't have to cut myself for it.
I mean, that wasn't what your first thought was. What are you doing?
What do you think I'm doing?
You don't have a penis.
No, but that was the only way I could show it in this.
Why is your... What? I don't understand what you're trying to tell me, Bailey.
It didn't work anyway, so I'm gonna just think for a second.
Alright, so, like, as you're reaching to grab your knife, you give one last thought to try and think if this is the best way to quench your thirst. Do a nice intellect throw for me, because I have a... Okay, so you got a 15. You're like readying the knife, and you're like, wait. What if I go back? What if I, like, eat more of that pixie?
Do I follow the right direction?
Alright, so... You're like, I've been going this way. The moss was trying to take me this way. What if I go this way?
Okay, let's split the difference. Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay. I'm just gonna keep walking, and walking, and walking. Let's see if I find water.
Okay. Do you find water? Yes!
Yes, I find water!
Alright, let's look at your luck. Ooh, it's like super clean. It's like fucking see-through. It's like a fucking lake. I thought you threw your hand.
Drink that bullshit. I'm gonna drink it.
Alright, so you lean down, you just start fucking shoveling water into your face. You think it's delicious. It's the most amazing. Alright, roll your red one, is what I meant. Cool. So you gained 4 from drinking some tasty water.
Sweet.
Literally. It was actually kind of sweet.
I am going to look around this area.
Okay.
I don't notice shit other than that there's water.
Alright, so what you see is that in front of you, majestic water. Behind you, lots of trees.
Perfect. Okay.
Wait, do a luck real fast. I want to see some. Alright, so you look up and realize it's still bright. Not in here, but...
Okay, so there's still sun.
Yeah. So that's cool.
I have water. I have wood.
Well, you have...
I want to build a house.
Out of cinnamon? Yeah, that's not gonna go very well. It's out of cinnamon that's blowing in the breeze.
I build a rudimentary axe.
Alright, so it kind of works. You find a stick and you find a rock, but then realize you have nothing to put them together with. Yeah, you're like, alright. Minecraft, all you need is a couple of sticks and a rock, so, Crafting table. This works in Minecraft. Why isn't it working now?
Your avatar's just grinning up a storm. It's amazing.
You're so upset.
Okay.
Alright,
I take... What do I do?
I don't know, what do you do?
I gather sticks.
Alright, so you got a whole 4 sticks. Now what are you doing with it?
I make a campfire.
Okay, you made a really good campfire. Do a smart trick. Alright, you're kind of
Do I
smart.
light myself on
Alright.
fire?
No, you're kind of smart. You didn't put, like, any rocks around the fire, but thankfully there's nothing flammable around you.
It's because there's water right there.
I mean, that's helpful, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
My elf is very stupid. That's the response. Okay. Okay. So I have a campfire.
Right.
I try and find a very big stick.
Alright, you found one. What are you doing with it? What's your plan?
I sharpen it with my dagger.
Alright, so you come across this giant fucking log. It's like a tree that fell over that's like fucking half your height. And your first thought is, perfect. And you just start carving away at it to sharpen it. And after about half an hour, you realize, this isn't gonna work out very well. I can't even lift this tree. I don't even know what I'm doing.
Okay then. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the lake.
Okay.
And I'm gonna jump in the water and see if there's fish.
Alright, so you're lost. You don't know where the lake is. What's going on? Can you stop flashing at me? Hello? Loading screen. I'm so confused. Why is it just flashing at me? Bailey? I had a network error.
Oh.
Yeah, if you see the stream, it's just flashing at me instead of loading.
I see that. It's weird.
So
Also, I did not nope the fuck out. You noped the fuck out. You
No,
just completely vanished from me. I'm like, Jennifer?
my internet was just like, this girl doesn't even understand. So I guess we should restart this app.